morning and welcome to GrainTV.
Good afternoon and welcome to GrainTV.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV.
Cody, what's your favorite number out of this morning's barrage of data?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Good morning, welcome to GrainTV. It's Tuesday, September 20th. Logan, we had a nice recovery yesterday in last night's overnight session. What were some of the key drivers going on in the market?
Well, you know, we had a USDA crop condition report that came out yesterday that I think was a little bit bullish there for the market. We were downgraded slightly. But I think the big driver there was the rumors that China was going to re-enter the corn market.
Yeah, I mean, China has been doing a little bit of back and forth. On the one hand, they announced that they're going to be selling 3.7 million metric tons of corn into their domestic market to reduce prices. But on the other hand, everyone's looking for them to be more aggressive later in the marketing year to be buying corn. USDA has them pegged right now at 2 million metric tons to be importing, but people are really looking for that number to grow to 4 to 5 million metric tons in the marketing year. So a lot of wild card and uncertainty in China as usual. But Logan, let's take a look at the domestic crop situation.
Yeah, absolutely. As we said earlier, we saw a 2% downgrade for the corn crop, and we saw 3% as far as beans. Now we're sitting at 51% for corn, good to excellent, 53% for soybeans, good to excellent. And it looks like that frost that we saw last weekend might have had a little bit more of an effect on the soybean crop than was initially thought.
Right.
We saw not substantial, but we saw large downgrades in the Dakotas as a result of that.
Yeah, you know, I know the market's going to jump a little bit as a result of this. We've had a lot of selling pressure in the last week. This gives it a little bullish enthusiasm, but I don't want to lose sight of the fact that the market knows we have a bad crop. You know, We know we had a bad crop. We had a reaction after the September WASDE report that was actually bearish in light of fairly, low crop production numbers. We've been expecting it, so I don't think these crop condition numbers are something that the market's going to take and aggressively push higher. On the harvest side, we're starting to see harvest pick up in key states. Illinois is about 10% done. Iowa is just starting to combine a little bit. Kansas is 33% done. So the harvest is underway. And, early indications are that some of the areas are looking better than what they expected. So I don't think this market's going to be overly surprised to the downside in terms of crop production. I think the surprise is more likely to be better than normal or better than expected crops. Logan, What does harvest weather look like for the coming week?
Well, these maps are provided by our friends over at Planalytics, and as you can see that we're going to get a column of cold air moving down from our friends to the north there in Canada. That's really going to start affecting us on Wednesday, and it should hang around until late afternoon on Friday. There's some talk that we could see weather in the 30s or 40s for areas of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest. So that's something to kind of keep a look on, or keep an eye on as we see, especially the soybean crop, which is reaching maturity here.
I mean, when I look at those maps, I don't see any key major rainfall events going on that are going to really stall this harvest out. So that's good for farmers. Going to be able to get in there, get that crop harvested. It's going to put pressure on basis. We're starting to see some pressure a little bit right now, but it's really going to pick up here in the next 2 weeks. Hey, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the markets.
How does an extra 10 to 20 cents per bushel sound to you? Sounds pretty good to us as well. So how do you know where the best markets are? Your best selling opportunity changes on average 6 to 8 times throughout the course of the year. At GeoGrain, we gather and analyze data from over 4,000 grain buyers every single day. We can guide you towards the optimal market. GeoGrain, global markets, local precision. Visit our website for a free
Welcome back to GrainTV. Logan, we're already trading this morning. Looks
Absolutely.
like we're holding up on those gains from the overnight session. What are we doing across the board here?
Yeah, like you were saying, we see December corn trading up 10 right now. So November soybean contract is up 10 3/4. Chicago wheat is also up 10 1/4. And Kansas City wheat's hanging in there as well, up 9 3/4.
Yeah, exactly. One of the nice things, obviously, about FireTip is the real-time quotes you get as a trading client through GrainHedge, the charting features, but it also has some really powerful technical tools. And right now, we know corn is trading below its recent highs. And one of the nice features in FireTip is the ability to draw what are called retracement lines that sort of give you a sense of where the market might be trading in reflection to recent highs and lows. Logan, can you walk us through some of those features in FireTip?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying, it's very easy. At the top of the menu bar here, we actually have a draw retracement lines button. By clicking that line, you start to draw your retracement here. And you want to pick out the bottom of the trend that you're trying to observe here. And we saw that in late June, early July. So I'm going to start it there. I'm going to go all the way to the top here, the top that was printed last week, I believe it was. And as you can see, it places these retracement lines on the chart here. And for one reason or another, the markets typically watch these levels for levels of support. And as you can see in yesterday's trade, the 50% Fibonacci retracement line was very important. We traded down there, and we saw a lot of buying enter back into the market there, pushing it higher.
Right. And so these are things that technicians are looking at, right?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
the technical traders who don't know corn from beans, from pork bellies, all they're doing is watching charts. And, we may not always agree with them, but they are a key driver of the marketplace. And they're looking at these types of technical indicators to give them some guidance about where to enter positions. And so, as you mentioned, we hit this 50% level, which is significant from a technician standpoint, and we immediately started to bounce higher yesterday. So, Logan, what do you think sort of the outlook is as a result of hitting that 50% level?
I think it's going to act as it is going to act as a bit of a price floor. We are going to see some support there, but I think we may see a little bit of a rebound off it, like we're seeing it today. But ultimately, I guess demand factors I think are gonna push this market a little bit lower.
Right.
What's your thoughts on
that?
that?
I think the ability for it to test the market high is a little less likely when we go all the way down to 50%. Technicians, if we were to stop at 38%, if there had been strong buying at 38%, that might be a better sign that we were going to retest those highs. But the fact that we made it all the way down to 50% makes it a little less likely that we could actually retest those and take out those highs. It's not to say it won't happen, but that's what a technician's looking at when they look at these numbers. Hey, Logan, let's talk a little bit about some of the basis conditions that are going on across the country. And we're watching grain basis across the country, and as we said, harvest is underway. And we look at corn and beans, we're seeing a lot of different areas of the country that are seeing different levels of basis. If we look at the change in corn basis in the last week, the U.S. average is only off 1 cent in general, but basically some of the key areas that were weaker, Kansas, the Dakotas, even parts of Iowa are starting to see some weakness as harvest gets underway. And in beans as well, even a little more detrimental drops in bean basis. And I think when I look at corn and beans, I'm looking for beans to really see sharp drops in basis at harvest because the crop is in a fairly good state, because there is really no export demand on the horizon. I think the bean basis is really going to take a hit at harvest, which means if you're a farmer, you want to look to store beans on basis because I think that's where the opportunity is going to be this year. And the other thing I wanted to focus on real quick, and Logan, you're a cash market specialist here at our company, and you focus on the cash market conditions. But Cedar Rapids, that area is an area I wanted to just talk about a little bit because we're seeing some of the ethanol plants in that region really hold up their basis fairly well, where the rest of the areas, the non-ethanol plants, the country elevators are starting to drop their basis. So, Logan, what do you think the outlook is here for basis in the coming weeks?
I mean, typically we do see basis decline moving into harvest here.
Right.
And I'd expect to see that this year as well.
Yeah.
We've seen with corn basis levels be relatively strong recently. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say that once those ethanol plants start to back off on basis, once they get that new pipeline supplies coming in, the entire basis complex will start to drop. So right now we're holding up fairly well because some of these key end users still need the grain, but here in a few weeks we expect it to really drop off. Hey, thanks a lot for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, call us anytime, 877-GRAIN07, and we'll see you on Thursday.